Hey there, my name is Sid, and in this video, I'm going to share with you my framework to run profitable ad campaigns. Now, this framework was built having worked with dozens of software companies and managing ads for companies like Typeform, Olark, ClickUp, Scott's Cheap Flights, Procurify, and many, many more. I've run campaigns across Google, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. And through the years, through millions of dollars in ad spend, I've been able to put together all of my strategies, my learnings into one unified framework that you could use to apply to your startup. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about that framework and the core of that framework, which is the customer buying journey. This concept was taken from some of the advertising greats that I've taken and adopted along with my learnings into something that's more suitable for the modern day and age of online advertising. And so I talk about how you could use that concept to target different potential customers at each stage of the journey. And then I'll give you some real examples of profitable ad campaigns that I've run and some campaign ideas that you can implement right away, even today, to get started. So let's start with why you need a framework in the first place. And so the reason I think it's important to have a framework is because when I listen or talk to founders or marketers who have never run ads before, some of the questions they ask me are, what's the best ad platform for us? How much does an ad cost? What should the ad say and where should the ad lead and so on? And the moment they ask that question, I know that they don't have the experience they need to do a profitable ad campaign. And so if they start doing it on their own, well, what's going to happen is you're just going to burn money, because if you are an experienced advertiser, you know that those questions don't have an answer. Or really, the best answer is it depends. It depends on so many factors. And that's why you need a framework to help you sort of put into concept and hang these concepts on a tree so that you can understand what the ad is supposed to do under different contexts and what audiences you should be targeting. So if you don't have that understanding, if you don't have that underlying framework, what's going to happen is just going to be a mismatch between your ads and the audience. You're going to, at the best case scenario, you're going to have suboptimal campaigns. Worst case scenario, you're going to have some false positives and false negatives that could lead to a lot of wasted money. So what a framework does is it helps you structure your campaigns according to the customer journey, which I'll come to in a bit. And in a sense, it allows you to show the right ads to the right people at the right time. All right. So you're optimizing how well your ad campaigns do, and you're optimizing that ROI on your ad spend. And so the way it works is basically you're creating a sequence of ads, or it could just be one ad, based on the customer journey. I'll come to this again in a bit. And the purpose of each ad is to push viewers from one step in the journey to the next step until they're ready to buy your software, your product, whatever it is your startup sells. So let's get to the core of this whole framework, the customer journey. And I'm going to use an example that anyone would be familiar with. So let's say you are a first-time founder working in out of a garage. You're surviving on ramen, and you're just eating ramen food all day long, and you're just unaware that ramen food is not good for you, like packaged ramen food. And at some point, you start to realize that you're putting on a lot of weight, right? And at this point, you kind of become aware of this problem that you are not healthy. You're eating unhealthy food, and so one maybe something you start doing is, all right, how do I lose this weight that I have? And you come across a bunch of solutions. One is going to the gym. You don't have time for that. One is, taking fitness classes. You just don't want to do those. And another one is have a better diet, eat more avocados. So you say, all right, I'm gonna have a better diet, but at the same time, again, I'm a starving founder, and I don't have a lot of money, so I can't be eating fancy food or the Whole Foods organic stuff. I still need something that's affordable as ramen, but healthier. And so you start to research what your options are, and you come up with a bunch of products. You're product aware of, say, Chipotle and Subway. And then at the end of this whole process, you make a decision. You choose to eat some Chipotle burritos from now on. All right, that's the customer journey, and every company, every startup has this journey. Every buying process. So every customer for your company is going through this or some version of this, right? So let's take another example in the software space. This is Shopify, an online uh, e-commerce platform. And so typically the customer journey for a Shopify would be you're a physical store owner, you're selling whatever stationery, right? You have a shop that sells stationery, and you realize that at some point sales are not good enough. You just don't have enough foot traffic coming into your store and buying your stationery. So you're problem aware now. You're aware that there's a problem, you don't have enough sales. And so you start to wonder what to do, and you start to sort of try and figure out how can I solve this problem. At which point you come across with a number of different solutions. One is you just spray the city with billboard ads. Another is maybe expanding into online sales, and so on and so forth. And you decide maybe you should start doing the online sales thing. You can reach a much broader audience than just your city. So you pick that, and then you say, all right, well, how do I create an online store? And then you start doing more research, and you become product aware. There's Shopify, Magento, BigCommerce, and so on. And as you sort of dig into each of these platforms, you make a decision and you choose Shopify. And that's the process for the buyer journey for a Shopify store. And again, like I said, this could be adapted to any other company. I used to be the head of marketing at a company called Thinkific, which was sort of an online platform for digital products. So say the Shopify for digital products, you could sell online courses. And so for us, our biggest audience were people who had online following. So say bloggers, YouTubers. These folks were creating a ton of content, putting it out there for free on their blog, on their YouTube channel, and they had a lot of subscribers. And they were making money through ads, right? They had like these display ads on their blog or YouTube ads, and they were making some income. And they were at the start of that journey unaware that there's a problem. After a certain time, they became aware of the problem, which was that there was a ceiling to how much they could make, right? Or maybe the ads were just not effective anymore, and their sort of earnings started to go down. Maybe YouTube changes algorithm. So now they're aware of this problem. They start to wonder, well, how can I leverage the audience I've built on my YouTube channel or on my blog and generate more income for myself? And so as they start to dig in, they come across a number of solutions. They're now solution aware. They could maybe sell physical products. They could sell digital products. They could create an online course for their audience. They decide to pick, let's create an online course. And now they're like, all right, how do I build this online course? They start to do more research. They come across products like Thinkific, Udemy, Coursera, so on and so forth. And then they decide, after doing some more comparisons, that they should use Thinkific to create this online course. So again, that's a journey that the customers, our primary customer persona, was going through when I was working at Thinkific. And what you need to do for your startup, for your business, is sort of map out this journey if you haven't already, right? And that could be just through customer conversations, talking to people who have bought your software or product, and sort of asking them, before you bought us, what were some of the other products you were comparing, right? What was going through your mind then? What were the questions you were asking? Before you started to dig into products, what kind of solutions were you trying to solve or look for? And before that, what were the problems you were trying to solve with those solutions? And then before that, what was your state of mind when you were just unaware that you had a problem? What was happening? And so really trying to understand and dig in to what was going on in their mind, what questions they were asking, will help you understand what your ad should say to answer those questions. All right. So like I said, this journey happens all the time for any product any person buys, including your phones, right? So in this case, most people, if you're not living under a rock, you're already kind of aware of the problems and solutions that a phone solves. And so everyone's already starting off in the product aware stage. But maybe say 10 years ago, when smartphones were a brand new thing, there were a lot more people in the problem aware and solution aware stages. Today, if you need a new phone, you start off in product aware, right? So what happens in this journey? How people move from left to right. They go from problem unaware to problem aware, solution aware, product aware, and decision, right? And the fewer steps that are remaining to that decision stage, the easier it is to convert them. Which is to say that if people are in the problem unaware stage all the way on the far left, it's harder to get them to buy your product because they just don't think they have a problem that your product solves. Whereas if they're already down in that stage where they're like product aware and researching different products, it's a lot easier to get them to buy because they're already sold and buying one of the products. They just need to pick one. So at any given time, unless you're selling phones, there are people at each stage of the journey. So that brings us to the question, what ads do we run now based on our understanding of this customer journey? How do we now structure our ads, right? So I'm going to walk through each stage, and I'm going to start from the easiest stage, which is the product aware stage. Those are the people that are closest to the decision point. And I'm going to sort of help you break down what kind of ads work best in this stage and why. So in product aware, as I mentioned, people already know about your product and they need to pick one of the many different products they're aware of, right? So your job here is to show them why your product is the best one out of all the other products they're comparing, right? You don't need to convince them that they have a problem or need a solution. They've already gone through that stage. So it's a waste of your time and it's a waste of your ad money to be putting out an ad to these people who are already in the product aware stage, right? That tries to convince them they have a problem solution. Your ad should simply try to get them to sign up. So in this case, typical ads that work for people in product aware are Google ads that are branded or competitor. So if you're creating a Google ad that's based on your brand keywords, that means people are searching for you. They're already aware of your product, right? And maybe you're searching for your product reviews and you want your ad to show up there. Maybe they're searching for competitors, so you can create competitor ads to show up and have them look at your product instead and compare your product or even try out your product, right? So those people are in product aware stages because they're aware of the different products, they're searching up the other products, and this allows you to grab them instantly. Facebook ads, retargeting, say a case study. So if people have visited your website but not converted yet, you can retarget those visitors. Obviously, they're aware of your product already. Retarget them to some sort of case study that shows a similar customer who's used your product and reaped the benefits. And as I said, they're already ready to buy. So don't ask them to download, some sort of like PDF on why you should be using a solution, or just directly push them to sale. Your case study could just be a straight up, ad that highlights the case study and directly pushes them to free trial. The next stage before the product aware stage is the solution aware stage. People in this stage already know the solution to their problems, but not how to implement it, which is what your product does. So they can either find a product to implement that solution, implement it themselves by building something, or do nothing, right? Maybe after a while, they decide, you know what, this problem is not a big enough deal that I need to implement a solution for it. So what your job here is to introduce your product as the easiest way to implement the solution, right? And I say easiest versus cheapest or best because people want the fastest answers to their problems, right? And so if it's a really bad problem and they really want a solution, the cost doesn't matter, right? So if people say, oh, too expensive, then it's just not a big enough problem that they are willing to pay that cost for. So what kind of ads can you run solution aware? Well, let's go back to the Shopify example. If people were trying to find a solution on how to build an online store, then something they could be searching for is online store software, right? So you can run Google ads to those sort of intent keywords. You could set up Facebook ads that target people that are lookalike audiences to existing customers, and you can get them to say start a free trial, or you could take them to a blog post that sort of explains the benefits of an online store software and then gets them to start a free trial. The stage before solution aware is the problem aware stage, and in this stage people know they have a problem, but they're still researching about how to solve it. So they're not yet ready to buy, right? So you don't need to ask them to sign up a purchase, but they just want more information at this stage. This is sort of like an information gathering stage. So here what you could do is you could promote an article, like a blog post or something that sort of highlights some of the information that they're looking for, explains the problem, mentions solutions. You can advertise some sort of ebook, email series, PDF download just to collect those emails while they're still in that research phase, give them a ton of content up front and a ton of information, and then sort of slowly nurture those emails into the solution and product aware stages and then retarget them, as I mentioned earlier. Or you could set up Facebook lookalike ads to promote some of this content that I just mentioned. You could have Google info keywords like how to do X, Y, or Z, and send them to those articles. And finally, the problem aware unaware stage, which is the first stage in the buyer journey. In this stage, people just don't realize they have a problem, which means they don't care about your solution. They just, if you ask them to buy your product or sign up for your webinar or download your PDF, they don't care. They're like, why should I do it? I don't have a problem, because you're unaware of the problem. So typically not worth advertising to unless you've tapped out or saturated audiences in the rest of the journey. And this is kind of like the best explanation for a billboard, right? Like a lot of people say, why do people do billboard advertising? It's so expensive. You can't track clicks. That's not the purpose of it. The purpose of it is the problem aware stage people. Once they see that billboard, perhaps some of them become more aware of the problems that they have, that billboard is talking about, and then they get it back into that journey. So in this case, if you've tapped out everything else and you just don't have the budget for billboards, you can still do this online through, say, Facebook interest targeting and promoting some sort of article that highlights the problems that they have. So for back to the Shopify example, that store owner who has a physical store and is just unaware that they could be making so much more in sales, or the blogger who is unaware that she has some sort of income ceiling, you could try promoting some sort of article to, say, a person who is a blogger, a person who's interested in commerce, and talk about sort of the downsides of only operating a physical store, or creating income via AdSense on your blog. So let's put this all together, right? We've gone through each and every stage. Let's create a campaign which is sort of encompasses everything into one kind of ad campaign. And so here in this sort of like structure, I've got the stages on the left, the types of ad that you can run for each stage, the kind of targeting you should be doing, and the objective. And you'll see as this fills out how you can use one campaign to move people, and a sequence of ads to move people from one stage to the next. So we're starting here in the unaware stage. I know I said you shouldn't really do this until you've tapped out, but just for like illustrative purposes, I've started with the unaware stage. And here I've got, again, I'm doing the case study for Shopify. The type of ad could be the state of retail industry in 2018. So this is some sort of content that would just generically be appealing to retailers. And you're using Facebook interest targeting or LinkedIn industry targeting to target specifically retailers. Your objective here is just to get traffic to this state of the industry article. The next stage is, as people read that state of the industry article, they start to become more aware of the problems with the retail industry or just operating physical stores. Now you have people in the product problem aware stage. Of course, there's already an existing audience in the problem aware stage. So to these people, what you could do is you can advertise, say, a content piece, a blog post on how to increase revenue via online sales. The targeting here would be Facebook lookalike audiences, Google info keywords like how do I increase revenue for my physical store. And the objective here is to collect emails. Again, they're still in the problem aware phase. They're not ready to buy. So you kind of just want to collect those emails and nurture. For folks in the solution aware stage, what you want to do is directly target those kind of solutions that they're already researching. So they're looking for e-commerce platform, online store platform, that kind of stuff. You'd probably use Google buyer intent keywords like best e-commerce platform, or custom audience on Facebook for folks who are ready to buy. And the objective here is to actually get them to try out your software or product, right? So they're not buying just yet, but they're just trying it out. And finally, in the product aware stage, these are folks who are aware of your product, aware of competitor products. You could do some sort of case study. Here, Shopify has done a case study on how Dollar Shave Club made $5 million. And that's going out to the website visitor audience, so retargeting audience, branded competitor ads, and getting people to kind of really see the product and how it works and how it could help you generate sales online. And the objective here is just to get them to buy your product. So once you set up this campaign, in time you can start to play around with the stages. You can create more complex or less complex ad sequences. You can test out various sort of sequences as well. And what you really want to do is you can tell a story in an ad, and you can do this in one ad, you take people from a problem to solution aware and then get them to click to become product aware. So you can actually take people through multiple stages in one ad. And I'm going to give you some examples of how I've done this personally with some clients. So first client here is Scott's Chief Flight. What they are is a B2C company. They target consumers mostly, and they are a newsletter for flight deals. So you pay them a monthly fee. So it's a subscription product, and you get alerts every day of new flight deals. And so what I've done here is Scott's Chief Flight already had like 1 million subscribers organically, but they were not able to sustain that sort of organic growth they had in the early days, and they wanted to expand into ads and just generate more growth. So I primarily did Facebook and Instagram ads targeting the problem unaware and problem aware stages because they'd already tapped out some of those solution and product aware stages. And so in this ad, I'm basically describing the problem to people and the solution in one ad. So I take them through the story of Scott's story of how he had a problem, with like flights are expensive, and then he found a cheap flight, and he went and had a great time, and then how he created this product, Scott's Chief Flight, to alert people when they have when there are new flight deals, right? And so it does it all in one go in one ad, and it gets people to directly try to sign up. And I also had a follow-up retargeting ad. So if people who clicked on this ad did not sign up, I would retarget them back into signing up with some sort of case study or sort of review from other customers. And so that really helped generate more customers for Scott's Chief Flights at a really cheap cost. Lumen 5 is a software company that it's basically a video platform, and it uses AI to convert your content, say your blog content, into a video. So they were targeting agencies, software companies, other companies that wanted to create video. And so here what I did was I targeted the problem aware and solution aware stages. So folks who are aware that it's not easy to create a video for their marketing campaigns. And then with a video, obviously, I explained how Lumen 5 makes it really easy. And so as you can see here, the ad is just basically talking about how you can create videos in minutes, start for free, highlights the problem, talks about the solution in a video, and then it gets people to sign up. The third and final example here is Procurify, an enterprise procurement software. They target big enterprises, and they'd already saturated a lot of their through campaigns that I helped them run. They'd saturated some of those buyer intent keywords in Google Ads, and they wanted to start experimenting with Facebook and Instagram as well. So again, I targeted people here in the solution aware stage, so they were aware that they should be using software to manage their procurement. And we created a video that kind of explains the Procurify product and how it enables the solution. And again, target these people with this ad. So that helped generate a lot of new conversions, sales, demos for a very good ROI. So what are the next steps for you? What can you take from all of this content that I've put together in this video and apply it to your company, your startup? Of course, this is a framework, so you have to do the exercises on your own, the customer journey, understanding the customer as I explained, and the customer journey in each step as I explained earlier, and then sort of adapting ads to each stage of the journey. Something that you can start off with right away. Some starter campaigns are those buyer intent keywords that are typically used by people who are in a solution aware stage, and targeting, say, if you have a procurement software, it would just be targeting keywords like procurement software and sending them to a sign up landing page. Or you could do competitor ads to people who are in a product aware stage and who are researching your competitors, send them to a comparison landing page with a sign up. Or with Facebook, you could do some retargeting ads and get them back to a sign up page. Those are some really quick, easy ways to get started with ads. And as you tap those out, you want to start experimenting with some of the other stages and some of the other ideas. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email is hello@sidbarath.com. If you are watching this on my website, there's a form below this video that allows you to put your name and email in and get some of my templates that I use for this kind of stuff, as well as to be able to book a call with me if you want. I am doing free consulting sessions for a limited time so I can take a look at your product, give you some ideas and suggestions that you can get started with on your own. Thanks for watching, and I hope this was useful to you.